Hello, hello. This is VP, and I am here with another section of Do Work Radio. This is a special interview with a very important person around Charleston who knows everything about what makes Charleston so exquisite. All right. She's really awesome. I can't wait to learn everything about her in this interview. I'm going to learn everything about her. It's Miss Kimberly Bowman of So Exquisite Charleston. Hello.
Hello.
There you go. There you go. Get your important voice on. Get the important voice on. Okay, so I've been waiting to interview Kim because she has a very interesting personality, and I want to know why you do everything that you do. So first and foremost,
Okay.
give me a little bit of background about you.
Well, my name is Kimberly, obviously. Last name Bowman. I am a native of Charleston, born and raised.
Awesome.
I'm from downtown Charleston. Oh God, what about me? I'm 24.
There you go.
So I'm old.
Yeah, not old. 24 is not old. You went to school?
Yeah, I went to school at Burke. Burke
Okay.
High School. I'm a class of 2010 graduate, valedictorian.
Awesome.
Yeah. I went to Susquehanna University in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated there a year and a half early with my bachelor's of arts in communications.
Perfect.
I did radio there. I wrote for the school newspaper. I had like 4 jobs on campus. Like I was doing everything.
You were involved, very involved.
Yeah, everybody knew me as the girl from South Carolina. That was my name.
That's all. Were you the only one from South Carolina there?
Yeah, like I told people, I was like, yeah, I'm from Charleston. They were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I love Charleston.
Yeah.
It's so amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's all right.
But you came back though.
Yeah, I came back because I graduated a year and a half early. So I came back, when was that? December of 2012?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, December of 2012, I moved back. Like, I didn't want to come back, but it was just, and I've been talking to, like, people who always leave and then end up coming back.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to get away from Charleston so bad, but it's
right.
like, it's not until you actually get away to where you miss it, and maybe you miss your family and your
right.
friends and everything. So you're like, I want to go home.
I'm going, right, right.
And my mom was, like, doing backflips that I came back home, so.
That's awesome, yeah. But
so.
but that's nice that you came back. I mean, because you came back and hit the ground running, right?
Yeah, like once I came back, it was like December of 2012. I moved back home, and like even before then, I was like applying and looking for jobs and things like that.
Right.
And any college student that's listening or out there knows that like finding a job after college is like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
So
it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. It really does. So
really.
It was, it was during that time from like December to March that I was going through like this depressing phase of, I can't find a job. Like,
right.
I feel like I'm not doing nothing. Like,
right.
I feel like life is just over. And so I just told myself, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start a blog or like a website or something and just do something just to kind of like keep my mind
right.
and my hands busy.
Right.
And I had already been thinking about doing something like that since even when I was in college. Like,
right.
Well, even since I was in elementary school, like I knew that I wanted to own my own business.
Right.
I just never was sure of exactly what I wanted to do. So it was just kind of like finding my way throughout my
right.
young life. And then it was like once I was in college, I found communications because I didn't go in as a communications major. Like I went in as like creative writing and studio art double major with a minor in political science. And then once I got there and I was just like, it was like when I got there, we did like these little like meetings with like the different departments, like your major, you would meet up with them and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, this is awful.
Right.
So, like especially the art department, I hated the art department there because
right.
the director was an ass, and I was just like, we're not gonna get along. Like, I gotta get out of here.
You knew it.
But I really was passionate about art and being creative and things like that, and taking things out of my mind and putting it on paper and bringing it to life. And like I switched to graphic design and political science. And then, with political science, the crazy thing was that was during the time where Obama was like, of
course,
so we had like literally the class was like, one of the classes I took was basically
right.
Obama 101.
Yeah.
And
because he revolutionized a lot of things.
Yeah, he did. And it was, it was cool. And it wasn't literally Obama 101. They just made everything about Obama.
Yeah.
So it was like, and I was the only black person in the class. So it was like, every time they said Obama, it's like everybody looked at me.
That's
it
right,
was like,
of course.
Yeah, Obama.
Now tell us how you feel.
And then they like looked at me, and it was like, what is going on?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so I just felt like I was just too outrageous for politics. So I was like, gotta get out of here. So I dropped that, and then, you know, I left graphic design. I was there for like 15 minutes, and then I just remember going, you know, to go get lunch, and I was on the phone with my mom, and I was like really upset.
Right.
I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
You're so far away from home.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what's going on. My life is over.
Yeah.
You know, everything's just falling apart.
Sounds like a typical college conversation.
Yeah. And so it was crazy because I was getting something to eat, and I was standing behind who I didn't know was the director of the communications department at Susquehanna at the time. So I was like standing behind him, like bitching on the phone to my mom. And then she was like, you know, he turned around and looked at me and was like, oh, well, you know, like you're undecided. And I was just like, yeah. So, you know, he was like, why don't you come by my office and come talk to me? So I was like, okay. So I went and I talked to him, and I told him my whole life story, and he was like, this is where you need to be. You're home now.
Right.
This is where you're going to be from now on. So, and yeah, like I said, I did like radio, writing for the school newspaper. I did everything. But yeah, like, you know, that's where I found my love for communications and media and journalism. And, you know, I had always liked to write. So it was like, I really kind of like channeled it into journalism. And I was like, oh, this is great. Especially writing for the school newspaper. They thought I was like Jesus,
right?
Like the second coming, because they were like, we think your writing is like great, and I was just like, I think it's crap, but whatever. Yeah, you know, if you're gonna pass me, then cool. Whatever, you know? Works. Yeah. But so I, you know, once I came back home, I just started the website, and you know, I started as a music blog, and you know, I was just interviewing different musicians and things like that, and you know, I was just going on Facebook and looking up people, and you know, my sister had like this social club, and so she was like, yeah, like I know this person, this person, this person, I can like put you in contact with them, and then I would meet up with them and go and interview them, and then it was like more and more, and you know, as more and more like things happen on the news and in society and art and culture, and you know, I was just like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna write something about it. And so I just started to add those things onto the site, and yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm always impressed with people that actually do write. I love writing, but I kind of suck at blogging. So when I meet people who are really good at doing that, I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, I always, you know, I've been writing since I was like a kid. So it was, you know, I used to like, and my mom can attest to this, I used to like, I don't even know what they were before, but I would like write her like poems and stuff.
There you go.
Like little essays.
To your mom?
Yeah. And I would like draw pictures, and I'd be like, this is our family. And it would be these like ugly little stick figures and stuff. Like she still had like all of those drawings, like, you know, because when I was like moving out and going to college or whatever, she was like, yeah, you need to figure out what you want to keep and what you want to get rid of. Because I'm not,
you got all these drawings and
you know, because you're grown now. Right. You're not 5. So we
you're still holding on to them.
Yeah. I was just like, I was so cute when I was a kid. Like, I drew all these things.
That's right. She can't throw them away.
Yeah. No, she didn't throw them away right away. It wasn't until like I came back home and like I moved out. Yeah. And then she was like, okay, yeah, we throw away
parents
some of
love
this
it when you move out. That's when they get rid of all your stuff.
Well, my mom was just like, you know, she's not going to admit to it, but she would just be like, are you sure? You know, because maybe you can think about it. You know, you can stay here. I don't have a problem with that. Right. It's like, I get it, but I need to get out of the house. I need to get out of here. Yeah. Because we're going to kill each other in this house. So I'm going to get out of here.
We love each other, but
I love you, but I'm going to love you from North Charleston.
That's right.
So, you know.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So you started So Exquisite Charleston. What was why So Exquisite? Like, why did you call it So Exquisite Charleston?
Well, okay, don't laugh, but I
will.
came up with the name. I came up with the name from a Lil Wayne song. It was like a Lil Wayne and Tiger song. Like, and I first heard the song when I was in high school. Yeah. And I was in, like, you know, when we had iPods, and iPods were like, oh my God.
The Holy Grail.
Yeah,
they
were the Holy Grail. It was just like, these are the coolest things ever. And, you know, I would always listen to it because I would walk to and from school because, you know, Burke was downtown and I lived downtown. And my sister, like, I would always download music and she would help me and stuff. And I just would download just random music because, you know, Lil Wayne was like God then.
That's right.
So I just like downloaded all this music by him, and I just liked, you know, I just played the song and I just liked how the word exquisite sounded.
Right.
I was like, oh, that sounds so like fancy.
Yeah.
So like exquisite.
Yeah.
Like it sounded like such a big word.
Right.
And, you know, I was just like, you know, that really like stuck with me. And, you know, there was like my favorite song around that time was like, I don't know if you listen to Music Soul Child.
Yeah.
But he had this song So Beautiful out.
Yes.
And so I was just like, oh, I
So
just love this.
exquisite.
Yeah. So when you know, during the time in high school when I was first like playing with the idea of like starting like my own like publication,
Right.
I was like, oh, what would I call it? So I did like research. I was like, okay, because I don't want to create a name for something that's already, you know, I don't want to start So Beautiful magazine and then there's like
So Beautiful, yeah.
So Beautiful already out there. So I would do research, and there was already So Beautiful magazine or Beautiful magazine or something like that. And there was, I did research on exquisite and I didn't really find anything, but I think I saw something exquisite, something newspaper or something like that.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna just make it So Exquisite, you know, Charleston, you know, and especially once I went off to school and cause even when I went out of the country, cause I went to Greece while I was in college as well, like people speak so highly of Charleston. Like Charleston is like, you know, the melting pot of like culture. It's like so many people come here to like start businesses, go to school, like just for the history, just to come and, you know, check it out or whatever.
Right.
And, you know, people really like this town as much as the natives like are just like, whatever. Right. You know, it's just like people really like Charleston.
Yeah.
You know, so I wanted to create something that really, you know, that was diverse and something that was like different from everything else, because I didn't want to do like a magazine like everybody else. I didn't want to have like a newspaper like everybody else. So I wanted the name to stand for something. Right. So I was like, okay, well, I looked up exquisite, and a synonym for exquisite was like excellence, or something like that. And Charleston to me means diversity with the culture, with the people, with the places, with everything. So exquisite Charleston is excellent diversity when it comes to like our culture, you know, the content, you know, the people that contribute, you know, our opinions, the things that, you know, that we do, you know, how we conduct ourselves, you know, it's diverse. It's like, it's not one way. It's just, it's many different ways, you know, so that's my little speech.
That's awesome. No, I think that's phenomenal how you were able to do the research and create that kind of name that's, you know, well thought out, and you're reflecting a place that you've called home, and then you're changing it into a marketable just kind of phrase for everybody else out there. And it can reach across all kinds of markets. When you say
and it's not just, and people think, oh, well, you know, what if you move? Like, what if you go to Atlanta, go to California? Like, are you like, is it going to be so exquisite California? And I'm like, well, to me, I don't feel like I have to change the name or anything like that. It's just because Charleston represents, you know, the things that happen in Charleston happen everywhere. Right. You know, just like how we have violence in our communities, there's violence going on in Chicago, Washington State, Idaho, here, there, everywhere. You know, there are plenty of things that, you know, we have a lot of similar, like the issues that we deal with here, they go on nationally. So, you know, Charleston is just kind of like the face for all of that, you know, because this is where it all started. So yeah.
Well, I think that's really cool that you were able to just pull into that. I mean, and just pull from your experiences growing up here, but also acknowledging that you've got everything all around the world. You know, you've got a city that people recognize. So you're really capitalizing upon that.
Really.
Exactly. Because you were over in Greece and people were talking about it.
And then it was crazy because like, we were in some town. I think we were in Athens, and we were like, me and a friend of mine were like walking through like this like little bazaar or whatever that they had, and you know, we went into like this little store, and it was like a jersey store. And so the guy, like, he noticed that we were American because we just looked like some Americans. And you know, we had on jeans and stuff like that. So jeans is like, if you have on jeans, they automatically know you're American, you know. So we went in, and he was just like, you know, so where are you from? And you know, we just said America, and he was just like, I know you're from America. Like, we're in America.
Give me specifics,
Yeah. So, you know, the other girls said like Pennsylvania, New York, you know, Missouri or whatever. And I said South Carolina. He was like, where in South Carolina? And I was like, I'm from Charleston. He was like,
Yeah.
so am I. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like,
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I was like, I can't even go out of the country and get
No,
away from
yeah.
Charleston.
Yeah.
You know, so, and it was crazy because I think he went to Clemson or something like that. And he was just asking me about like, oh, do they still have this? And, you know, I want to take my wife and my kids out there and all this. And I was like,
away across the pond. They're still kind of like, Now let's talk a little bit more about So Exquisite. Okay. So I've seen a few things that I want to talk about. One is you've got a portion called The Hub.
Yes.
That's pretty recent, correct? Like pretty much curating bloggers?
Yeah, it's basically like what it is, a hub. Like, it's just like a place where you can find like other local blogs and websites and things like that. So it's, you know, that's what it is. It's like a place for you to find everything. Like, when I think of a hub, I think of really like, you know, a place like, I always think of like a train station or something like that. Like some place where you go,
like
and, you know, there's
connecting
to different places or whatnot, because something that I'm really big on is community, and I'm really big on, you know, showing love to other people, because, you know, somebody had to show me love in order to get where I'm good, where I'm getting at. And, you know, I feel like it's only right to, like, you know, for one hand to wash the other.
Right.
Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I wanted to be able to, you know, use my platform to be able to give them some shine as well.
Right.
You know, I feel like bloggers don't get enough attention. They don't get enough appreciation because, you know, bloggers have a lot of power in our society now. So.
Yeah, I see bloggers as like kind of like those online books. They're giving you a chapter after, and you know, and if you like reading, you like novels or something like that. I'm just now starting to see it like that because, like I said, I've got a lot of respect for bloggers because that was my weakest point in all things communication I did. And so when I see a blogger who's consistent, it really feels like that, like the same feeling I would get for like a sitcom waiting every single week. Shout out to American Horror Story, it's about to start. That same feeling that I get of a new episode coming up is the same thing I feel about with bloggers when they got a new post or something. I thought that was very interesting, pulling those bloggers together.
Yeah, because I'm working on doing like a networking type of mixer or whatnot, because I'm so like, and you know, people like, and it's funny because people always call me the plug. But I don't think that I'm a plug, just because I guess since I've known people, and I kind of like, I don't consider myself to be an urban publication. Like, I kind of can like, I can go to like the fancy events, and I can also go to like the hood spots, or whatnot, and I can hang with either crowd, right? So, you know, it's interesting. Like, you know, people come to me and like, oh, do you know someone that does this? Do you know someone that does that? Or whatever. And I want to be able to, you know, do some type of event where we can all just get together and get in a room, and just be like, hey, you remember you needed somebody that does this? Boom, there they go. Boom, there's one over here that does this. You know, so yeah, I like that. That's
networking is very important, and anywhere that you can mix and mingle.
Yeah,
and have alcohol is always good.
Alcohol is the key. So
you have to have that. We've got another person joining us in this interview, Mr. Emeka Swain. How's it going, Emeka?
What's up, y'all?
There you go. So he's on the mic. He'll be asking some questions as well.
Maybe not.
Or maybe not. He might just be putting his ad libs in. Whatever. But there's another section of So Exquisite, the app. So tell me about the app. What all does the app do?
The app, it's really just another extension of wanting to connect people and really put Charleston, you know, show Charleston in a way that a lot of people don't really look at it or think about it as, you know. Of course, on the app, you know, you'll find links to the website and things like that, links to any other, you know, people that we work with through like our creative services side or whatnot. You know, so it's links to that and social media, of course, obviously, but there's also an event calendar on there. So it's like a list of different events going on in Charleston right now. You know, like parties, networking events, festivals, family events, adult events, kids events, and things like that. Like, it's just a mix of different things. Like, if you're home bored on the weekend or during the week and you need something to do, you know, you can download the app and look
through the events. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And then I have the GPS feature, which I call exquisite places, where local businesses, you know, because there are local businesses that, you know, pop up in Charleston every day.
Right.
Like there's at least like 5 or 6 that pop up every day in Charleston, or started every day.
Right.
And it's like a GPS feature. If you have like a physical location, you can sign up. It's like $25 to get your business listed.
Right.
And say if like, what's the business over here? Chinese restaurant across the street. Like say if they were to sign up and put their thing in there. If I'm like riding down King Street, you know, bumping my music, and I have the app on my phone, I'm going to get a notification that says, hey,
you're near one of the exquisite places.
Yeah, you're near an exquisite place. So I'm going to click on the notification, and then the location to this Chinese restaurant is going to pop up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's a cool idea. That's a very cool idea. Yeah. How did you come up with that? You just
I wanted to do something because I just wanted to be able to offer something to people. I wanted to be able to offer some type of service or whatnot. And then on the business end, of course, drive more revenue.
That's right.
So I wanted to be able to, you know, connect people and, you know, offer a service and show love to other businesses or whatnot, because I know how hard it is to start a business and have a dream and have a passion, and you just need somebody to just give you that push, or somebody to just show you a little bit of love, and it's hard, like it's really, really difficult. So, and you know, it's, and a lot of the opportunities that are out there are either really expensive, or you know, you have to be like 10 years down the line. Right,
that's right. They want you to have a ton of experience. Yeah.
So it's like there aren't really a lot of opportunities showing love to the people that just got started yesterday.
Right.
You know. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is true. When I saw that, I thought it was, that's why I'm glad that you're here, because like I said, I have a lot of questions, because I would see the app, I saw the hub, because there's actually a blogger that I think could benefit greatly from the hub.
Because I'm probably gonna, and since the hub is so new, I'm probably gonna add that onto the app as well. So that would be an awesome additional too. You know, people are on there, and if you're like on the bus, you need something to read, and you've not read every single article on So Exquisite Charleston, you know, go and check out Simply Jasmine, or go and check out Truly Charmed or whatnot. So yeah,
that's cool. Now, what is it that, so you say you started off as a music blog, now you kind of pretty much really almost like an independent journalist that's covering whatever, whenever. Do you follow a specific pattern? Like, or is it just really whatever you're feeling?
It's not necessarily what I'm feeling, because, you know, I have other contributors or whatnot. I guess it kind of all comes from my head, because it's kind of like I have, you know, I want to say this, like we're not a typical magazine. We're not a newspaper or anything like that. We don't report the news. I don't care to report the news.
I understand,
because we can report the news here. Breaking news, like so and so was shot. You know, we're informing people. Like, people might be listening and be like, oh, I didn't know that. Or, you know, if you go on Facebook and your auntie out in New York is like sitting on her porch and she sees a fight and she's like, you know, recording it or whatever, like that's news. Like, that's, you're informing people of something, good, bad, ugly, it doesn't matter.
That's right.
You know, so I just wanted to, you know, I want to be able to, you know, show people's opinions and their perspectives and their thoughts on, you know, what's going on in the news, like what's going on in their communities, what's going on in their culture,
the
like
outside development of the idea.
Because I feel like, you know, people profit off the news, but they don't care about how you feel about it. You know, they don't care about how it makes you feel, or, you know, people can report all day long that, you know, this school is a failing school, but they're not going to report, you know, about the parents that, you know, have to send their kid miles away because they're going to shut down the school because this is a failing school. You know what I'm saying?
They'll limit what they give. Because it always has to benefit their overall story.
It has to benefit their ratings and benefit them. It's like, you know, I don't care to benefit, you know, I don't care about ratings. You know, I just care about, you know, people informing us and, you know, getting another side of the story. People seeing another side of things, or being offered another perspective on something. So, you know.
Now, you talk a lot about different perspectives, especially just from your, like, in your personal life, because I know that, so I see you a lot on social media and stuff. And so I gotta know, you are very much like, I guess I'll say, I want to say that you're confident in what you put out, but you've also touched on, you always refer to a lot about like a time in your life when you weren't so
Yeah.
confident. So how does that confidence in your personal life, how does that run parallel to what you do with So Exquisite?
I just feel like when I was younger, I was very, very shy. Like I wouldn't have been able to do something like this and just sit here
Right.
and just talk about myself or whatnot. Just because I grew up, you know, I didn't have a bad upbringing or anything like that. Like I was a nerd in school, so I was very shy. People used to
Right.
tease me. People used to pick on me or whatnot. You know, I never really used to say much. I never really used to do much or anything like that. I didn't have a lot of friends.
Right.
You know, so I was very much an introvert. Like, you know, I would always go home. I never really went out or anything like that.
Right.
Me
So, you know, I was very much an introvert. I was a nerd. Like I just, you know, I would go to school and go home, and you know, and it was a very evolving time for me. But once I went to college and once I started So Exquisite, it was like this version of myself had to like drag the like shy person out of like the closet and just come and just, you know, be myself. Because I mean, I've learned that regardless of, you know, people gonna say whatever they want to say about you. It doesn't matter if you change their mind. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like people's opinions don't matter. Everybody's got an opinion.
Right.
Everybody's got their own thoughts. Everybody has their own mind. It's like, you know, if just like how I said before we started, if Donald Trump can get up here and shout ignorant stuff in front of millions of people or go on social media and attack people and do things like that. Not saying that I'm comparing myself to Donald Trump. You know, I should be able to share my opinion. I should be able to step out and say, hey, I don't like the color blue. Hey, I don't like this.
Right.
Hey, I think that. And I use So Exquisite as a way to be able to share my opinion, share my mind, and share those opinions that people don't really know about. Share those opinions that people don't really think about. Share those.
They're afraid to say.
Yeah, say the things that people are afraid to say.
Right.
You know, because I feel like we still grow up in a world, and especially being a black female, I feel like we're still in a world where being a female, you're expected to be quiet and know your place.
I was just talking about this earlier.
Yeah, you know, I'm not with that, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm someone, you know, I've seen the world in different ways, and, you know, I've been abroad. I've had certain things happen to me. I've learned a lot about myself, and I've seen, you know, different sides of, you know, society, and I do a lot of research. I read, you know, and I try to educate myself as much as possible. So it's like, you know, I'm not going to be quiet about this stuff.
Yeah, you've got a formed opinion.
Yeah, I have a formed opinion. Like, I wouldn't have this big mouth if I didn't, you know, if I was just supposed to sit here and be quiet.
Right.
And so people always tend to, and I wrote an article about this, like people always tend to stereotype black women if they have an opinion as you're an angry black woman.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, whoa, calm down. Like,
Yeah,
why are you
be
like,
chill.
Yeah, you know,
You're
be
like,
chill. It's just like,
I just want to say what I
it's just, I just
yeah.
want to say what I want to say, or I just want to say
Yeah.
how I feel, or what I'm thinking, or what
Yeah.
bothers me, or what doesn't bother me, what
Right.
makes me happy, what makes me sad. Like, why is that such a problem? And it just shows, regardless of how advanced we are with technology, how many females run for president or whatnot, like people are still going to feel the way that they want to feel about
That's right.
a woman's place in American culture.
Right.
And for me, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to speak as loud as I want.
Yeah.
And give a voice to those people who feel like they can't say anything.
Yeah.
And, you know, because to be able to, you know, push those people out that, you know, try to silence us. We
Right.
should be able to speak how we want to speak and say what we want to say. So I'm such a, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm such a revolutionary.
There you go. Yeah, okay.
That's
okay.
why I was so like down ho for like Bernie Sanders. Like, so I was like, yeah, look at you, man.
We like what you said.
You know, like I like what you're saying. Like, this is my dog. Like, you know.
So you had some you make some comments about women. What do you think about there's a topic that I was discussing with a woman who's older than me, and so it's kind of like a cross-generational conversation, and it was about like submission in terms of like a lot of women, especially between the ages of, I want to say between the ages of 18 and probably like that 28 range, there's a lot of messages being targeted to them in terms of like submission. So like you see a lot of stuff like the classic food post is like, oh, where he going, where my man going, whatever. And it's a lot about where he going. I always tease back about that, but you're seeing a lot of these. And the woman I was speaking to, she was saying, where's this coming from? Like where are women getting that idea again of like that kind of submission or being very submissive, things like that? She's like, I gave away that idea in like the 60s. And so now you kind of see a revamp of that. Is there anything that you've noticed here lately with women? How do you feel about that? What's your perception?
It's stupid. I'm sorry. I'm going to
go ahead.
I think it's stupid as shit. Like, because I personally feel like, those are ideas and, habits and stuff that we left behind in the 40s and 50s and 60s.
Right.
Like, like there are women like Shirley Chisholm and, Rosa Parks and things like that fought for us to be able to sit at a table and say what we want, or be able to at least have people acknowledge the fact that we have something to say. Like, those people didn't go through all of that just to have us go right back to the same things that we were doing umpteen years ago.
Yeah.
I just think it's dumb. Like, and to me, I feel like I really feel like it all goes back to how people are raised. I may have been raised one way to where my mom teaches me, hey girl, you speak your mind and you let the world have it.
Right.
If you got something to say it. But your mom may be someone that,
she may be a little bit more reserved.
She may be more reserved. She may be someone that, nothing against women that don't work and, they're married and their husbands work and provide and whatnot. She may be someone like that and feels like a woman is supposed to be there for a man, be that, that, additional kind of like that trophy for a man or whatnot. Right. So then it's like you're being raised to believe that that's how women are supposed to be. I'm being raised that women are supposed to be able to do whatever the hell they want to do.
Right.
So there's going to be that conflict. There's going to be that friction because you're going to go and teach that to your daughter. She's going to teach that to her daughter. She's going to teach that to her daughter. I'm going to teach my way to my daughter. I'm going to teach that, it's just a trend, and it's not until there's something that happens, there's some type of experience, there's some type of event that happens that changes people's minds, or changes people's opinions, or changes how people think. I just, and I always like, because I come across women all the time that are just like, like, even like I have like relatives that are like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? When are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, honey, I have so much to do. Like, I don't have time for that right now.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not a priority for me right now because I have so much that I want to do in my life to where it's like, not saying that I never want to get married or have kids. It's just like, that's just not the first thing on my list.
Right.
Because I feel like women feel like once you have a baby, then you're a woman.
Yeah.
Then you're a woman.
Oh yeah.
You're not a real woman until you have a baby.
Yeah.
Or you're not a real woman until a man marries you or something like that.
Right.
I don't feel like that's true. I feel like I'm a woman when I come crawling out of my mama. Like that's I'm a real, I'm a human being. I'm a real person.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter, what a man does. I don't need a man to validate me. I don't need anything like that. Like, I grew up with my father in my life or whatever, and he raised me to be the same way. You don't need a man. You don't need no damn
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
you don't need nobody. Anything a man can do for you, you can do for your damn self.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, I've just been a very independent person. Maybe that's why people think I'm a bitch. But
that's the first. That's always the first. That's the first thing to come out of people's mouths. Like, they automatically, especially when it comes to women who are much more on like an independent side. And I think that sometimes we also kind of get confused with, we get so afraid of dependency that we think that being independent means that you don't need anybody. But it's just more so of like, I think that being independent means that you are able to find the balance. You're so secure in your own positive traits or what you bring to the table. You're so secure in that that you can be in a team and know that independently I got some good things going on, and I know that I can work together with this man. Like, if I'm in a relationship with a man, I can work together
Yeah.
to provide the balance so that
Yeah.
I don't feel oppressed and so
Yeah.
that he don't feel oppressed, but we can work together.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really, that was a good point that you brought up though, because there are a lot of people within our within your own gender or whatever, you have these kind of like checkpoints or these rites of passage.
Yeah.
And even women in their own groups have rites of passage, these unspoken rites of passage that kind of come up when all of a sudden you're going against the norm. Like, oh, you don't want to get married right now? Maybe I don't want to get married right now. All of a sudden there goes that unwritten rule that's like, you should be married by now. Like you should be, you know, so.
Or like now it's like
Strange.
so many females have kids so early.
Yeah.
So it's like I've been on dates and be like, you don't have no kids? Like,
right.
Why? And I'm like, because I don't want no damn kids.
Yeah, I don't want no
Like,
kids right
I
now.
don't want no
Yeah.
damn
Something-
children.
Yeah.
So, it's just interesting, and or like if you're single around this age, people think something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you must be crazy. Or, oh, like,
Right.
if you have all this stuff going on, like, people
Right.
get easily intimidated. Especially for, there are a lot of men out here at this age, they're still trying to figure it out.
Right.
Like, it is true
Oh,
when
especially
they say,
at young
men. But it is true what they
True.
say. Like, women do tend to, like, develop a little bit faster when it comes to,
It's
like,
true.
growth and stuff.
It's true because there are sometimes that you can, especially in your early 20s, sometimes dating a guy in those early 20s can be pretty, can be taxing on you.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are some things
I know.
that you're sitting down and you're understanding, or that you can see. He's just seeing the car that's right in front of him, but you've seen the two cars and the traffic light that's coming up. So
Yeah.
like you're thinking about all of that, you're seeing all of that, and he's only concerned about the Honda Civic that's right in front of you, and you're like, okay, this car is braking because of the two up there, you know. And so while you're thinking about that, you want to just, especially with women, I think because we're groomed so much to talk to people.
Yeah.
We just want to, when we talk about this and we analyze this or we bring our thoughts to the table, we want to be heard. And a lot of times it doesn't seem like in the 20s range men are really doing
That's why I'm actually like working on a book right now actually that I'm
Awesome.
starting this week. I'm saying it, I'm
Good
declaring
job.
it.
You should.
So if you like talk to me within a month and you be like, hey Kim, how's that book? I'm gonna be like, it's done.
Well, this is going to be
It's
out and
done.
everybody's going to hear it. So
Yeah.
I guess
So everybody hold me to my word.
we're going to know.
So I'm actually working on a book right now for females and men if they want to read it too, for people transitioning into their 20s, because I feel like for me I feel like I've had a unique time transitioning into my 20s, especially everything with like from growing up and relationships and learning a lot about myself and whatnot,
Starting a business
and whatnot. I feel it's been a really evolving time for me. Like I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned what I don't want, what I do want.
That's right.
I've had bad things happen. I've had really good things happen. And it's just, I just want to share those, use my life as kind of like a map to say like, hey, you should do this because I did this and look what happened.
Right.
But you shouldn't do this because I did this and girl, you don't want to deal with that.
Right,
So,
right.
So I'm working on it right now. And it's going to be like an ebook. I want to hopefully have like print copies to like give to people.
Right.
Because I feel like when you're like 18, 19 and you're legal and you're an adult in the eyes of the law, you just feel like you got the keys to the city. Like you just feel like you can go
and do whatever you want.
Yeah, you can go and run wild. And, a lot of people don't really know what they want to do. So they end up like falling and stumbling or, crashing and burning really early. So I
not
figured
getting help in the right amount of time.
Yeah, definitely. So I definitely wanted to, create something to be able to share my life and also be kind of therapeutic for me. Like, oh God, finally I can say this.
That's right. And you'll be surprised to the lives that you touch through, especially books. Books are becoming a little underrated. Like books really do touch people, and people are really excited to read books still. Like I know that they are now. So you want to pull from your personal experiences. So let's go back to some personal questions again. Boy, I see you all the time. You got it, like defending yourself on now. You've got your you'll take a photo shoot.
Yeah.
And then, boy, the next status
it'll
is
like explode. Like, and this is the thing that bothers me because, and like, let me go on my rant for a second.
Go for it.
Like, I just feel like for me, I'm someone, like I said, I've dealt with a lot of confidence issues, and I've been, I've dealt with, insecurity issues since I've been like a kid. So it's like, I used to avoid mirrors when I was a kid. Like, I would like not look in mirrors and stuff like that because I didn't like how I looked. Like, I felt like I was too dark. I felt like I was fat. I felt like I had too much acne. I felt like I was weird looking. I feel like, okay, well, I don't look like all these girls over here. You look on TV and it's like, well, I don't look like these people, so obviously I must be ugly.
Right.
And I would get like people to like, that would tease me about how I looked, and they would pick on me and stuff like that. So that didn't help. And then, especially, when you come home and, not to say anything bad about my upbringing, but I didn't really have that like pillow, like it's okay or whatnot, because I kind of had that tough love type of upbringing. So it was just, I went through a lot, and it wasn't until like I got older and, I started to realize that, okay, like I'm kind of cute. Like, like I was just like, oh, I look nice. Or like, and it was really, it's kind of weird. Like, it wasn't until like people started to approach me like, hey, I like you. You're pretty. And I'm like, what?
Me?
Are you blind?
Right.
Like, let me look in the mirror. Like, ain't I pretty like this? Like, it wasn't until then I was like, maybe they got a point. Maybe they ain't as dumb as I think. Like, so I started to, become more and more confident in myself or whatnot. And so taking pictures is always something that I never really like to do. Yeah. Like, I'm not one of these girls that takes selfies every day, because I don't have that kind of time, and I just never really, it was never really like, take selfies, check. Like, that was never, that's not on my daily list of things to do.
You're never bored enough to do it.
Yeah, I'm not bored enough to do those type of things. Yeah. So when my friend, he approached me like maybe like 2-3 years ago, and Brandon, we known each other for a really long time. Like, he approached me about, this is when I was doing So Exquisite, and he saw what I was doing. Yeah. So he's like, hey, like, I'm starting a photography business. Like, do you want to help me build my portfolio? So at first I was like, like,
I don't think I want to do that.
No. Yeah. So he was just like, girl, you're beautiful. Like, like, we can just take a couple pictures. Like, you can use them for like professional stuff or whatever. Yeah. So I was like, okay. So we would do photo shoots, like, and we built a friendship, as he was building his business, I was building mine. Right. So we would always do like photo shoots together. We would always hang out. We always had that like connection with each other. So, never anything on a sexual or anything like that type of level. Never anything like that, because we always had that respect for each other. Right. And, we would do photo shoots, and I mean, I can't help it, the fact that God gave me hips and a butt and boobs, and was just like, hey girl, like, your body's nice. Like, I can't help it if like I put on a dress and you can see like that I have curves or whatnot. Right. I can't hide it. Like, I'm sorry if it bothers you, or if it offends you that my butt is big and yours is flat, or that your boyfriend thinks it's cute and you just kind of mad, So I can't help things like that. So the photo shoot that I did recently with him, he had been messaging me like, we need to do another shoot, we need to do another shoot, and I had been so busy, so I was like, I didn't really have the time to. And then another friend of mine said, that I know, he knows that I do So Exquisite, and he draws and things like that. And then he just like messaged me. He was like, okay, like, I'm starting this new business venture. And I was like, okay, what is it? And he was just like, I'm selling sex toys. And I was like, what? Yeah. And he was like,
there are a lot of people doing that lately.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, I'm selling sex toys. He was like, yeah, I got a homeboy. And so I was like, what?
Sex toys is fine. You talking about the good?
It was like totally not like that. No. I got a homeboy. No, it was totally not. No homo, not in like a homo way. But no, he had.
Look, man, we tried him out. There it go. There it go.
No, he was selling sex toys and lingerie. So he was just like, me and him on a personal level, we're not doing anything like that with
Right.
each other. But I'm one of those type of people, my friends know that, you know, I'm a very open person. So I don't mind talking about things like sex.
Yeah.
Like, I make sex jokes all the time. Like, just because I know they make people uncomfortable. So I make, like, weird sex jokes or whatever. So, you know, people just know that's how I am personally.
Yeah.
So when he asked me about it, he was like, oh, do you know any, like, models that would, like, you know, model
Right.
the lingerie? Not the sex toys, but the lingerie.
Yeah.
So I was just like, yeah. I was like, you know, maybe I can find some people. And I sent some people his way. And, you know, I had already been doing the photo shoot. So I was like, oh, well, why didn't you ask me to do one? And he was just like, oh, well, you know, you're a thick girl, so I'm sure it would look nice or whatever. So, you know, he gave me like a little set or whatever. And then I came up with this idea. And so I contacted my friend Brandon, who I do the shoots with. So I was like, oh, let's do something different. So he got a room or whatever with, I guess, because he was going to be doing another photo shoot that day as well.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, this is lingerie. I want it to be something sexy or whatnot, but it's still going to be classy or whatever, because I'm not about to be like, hey, what's
Leg
up?
up.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm
Yeah.
not going to be like leg up or spread eagle or anything
Right.
like that. And I'm not advertising my goodies or nothing like that. I ain't selling it.
This
or
picture ain't
nothing.
gonna double for another, like,
Yeah, you know, so I did it. The whole photo shoot came about because I was doing a favor for two different people.
Right.
Like, it was not like, I know, because people were like, saw the pictures and was like, oh my God.
Yeah, you
like,
said you had a lot of
what
like
are you
inbox.
doing?
Yeah.
What is going on? What's happening with you? Or whatnot.
What was the environment of the shoot?
It was in a hotel. It was in like a bedroom. Like, I was sitting
What
on
hotel?
a bed. Like, it wasn't a seedy hotel. It was one of those hotels in Mount Pleasant. I can't even remember the name, but it's like what is it, like the Comforter or whatever. I know
Okay.
it looked. No, it wasn't Comforter. It wasn't a Comforter hotel. And it wasn't a seedy hotel. It was like, I thought they looked fine.
Yeah.
I thought they looked pretty classy or
Yeah.
whatnot. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't think there were anything wrong. Like, I had a
Yeah.
little fun with it or whatnot. But that's just how I am.
Right.
You know, so for me, I was just like, you know, okay, I'm a confident, you know, black curvy woman. I don't have a problem with modeling lingerie. And it's
Right.
like, it's not a secret that I got ass and boobs or nothing like that. So
I haven't been able to hide it this long.
I can't hide it this long, so I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a
Right.
shocker to anyone. And, you know, I had people messaging me like, how much do you charge?
How much
Like,
do you
how much
charge?
do you charge? Oh, how much would it cost for me to just make your day? And I was just like,
See, I don't understand that. Okay, so I haven't even known you yet, and I was like, oh my God, look at her pictures. I was like, what the heck? Like, I was like, what is it? But at the same time, there's a duality to that, because at the same time, you're like, you could be like, oh my gosh, she put those pictures up there, but then on the other side, you're like, well, she can kind of do whatever she wants to, because it's like, and when you explain kind of like your vision, it's not even. First off, there are things that can go without explanation. Like, you choose to do something, you choose to do something. Now, Facebook is just another public forum that people are going to sit there and say, but it always baffles me, the kinds of thing that I'm most curious about, what people DM'd you. Like, it's one thing you can sit at home, you say, oh man, she put those pictures up, or wow, she put those pictures up, or something like that, and you go about your day. But there are people who take the time to be like, no, I'm going to tell her right now how I feel. And that's always, because I saw you put up the post afterwards. You're like, for everybody in my DM telling me about how to be a lady and how to do this and how to do that. Like, I can do that. Was, so you said there were some people hitting you up like, what do you charge? And I was
it was like, I had like some of the most weirdest and most offensive people like say things to me or whatever. And it's just like, but wait a minute. There are women that post like, "Hey, I'm home alone."
Right. Who directly say,
"I'm ready." Like, somebody getting whoever first, you know, come on. Or I know females that put up their phone number, like, "Hey,
I'm
you
ready."
know, or whatever. Or females who don't even have on lingerie or whatever, and they just butt naked, just spread open, like.
Hey,
like, you know, like,
isn't that interesting though? That like, if a woman, if you put up a a picture of the lingerie or something. Now, you've put up so many things about, this is just traditional, like, sex sells, because you put so much about So Exquisite, nobody hit you up and was like...
Nobody pays me not a lick of attention. But the minute that you see me in my drawers, then now you see me. Now it's, wow, aren't you a professional? Oh my God!
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Your ass don't pay attention to not a lick of anything that I said.
Right.
Now you care.
Yeah.
Any other time I post anything asking for donations to my scholarship fund, asking for people to download the mobile app, saying, "Oh, I'm going to go be featured on this. I'm going to be featured on that." Don't none of y'all come in my inbox and say, "Hey, I admire you.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job." Or "I like that." Or "Hey, like, what's up?" Or da da da. But the minute I post some pictures that you don't like, then you got a problem. To me, I don't mean to interrupt you, but to me it just shows just like how people view women in society.
Yeah.
I don't care about you when you have an opinion or when you're talking about something. Right. When you're talking, giving a formal, educated opinion.
Right.
But I'm gonna pay attention to you when you posting butt naked pictures, or when you ranting or you cussing somebody out or whatever. I'm gonna pay attention then, but I don't give a fuck about none of this other stuff that you say.
That's
To me, then it's like, well, then, how you gonna come in my inbox and say that you don't, how to teach me how to be a lady or whatnot? But it's like, I'm not 3.
Right.
I'm not 5.
Right.
I'm not 18. I'm not 16. Right. I'm 24.
Right.
I'm grown. I got my own place. I pay my own bills.
Right.
I got my own car. I don't got no kids, and I don't got no man.
I can do.
So I can do whatever the fuck I want, basically. So with my booty and me being in lingerie, me being in a hotel, me being wherever, ain't got a damn thing to do with you.
Right.
Because you don't wipe my ass.
Right,
you don't pay my bills.
And you're not even trying to be like, you're not trying to be a sponsor.
You ain't even trying to support nothing that I'm doing. So why does it matter to you? Like, why does it matter? People just like that shock value. They just like that. That's what gets people attention. So it's like, you don't give a damn about So Exquisite when it comes to something positive going on in the community. But
you're waiting to see something.
You've been waiting for me to post them pictures though.
It's so apparent like how much people don't want to admit when you're doing something really good, and it's just amazing to me, because instead of wanting to ask the question or say like, why do you do it? Why do you do what you do? Like, what makes up all of you? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you come to this point? Like, we all have things about our character, or like just our personality, rather more so our personality. That's like, okay, I'm a business person who I've got my own business, but I also have a life, and I also have these interests and things like this. And that's why I asked, my first question was, how do you deal with that running parallel with So Exquisite? Because a lot of you do have your own page, but you also use a lot of your personal page to promote So Exquisite, right?
Because even before, because this is actually my second personal page, because I had a personal page before, but I deleted it. And I just feel like my business is me. I'm a part of my business. So it's like, I'm going to share what my business has going on regardless, because people already know that I'm the mastermind behind it. So people are going to come to me and inquire about my business regardless. So why not use my personal page where everybody is at to be able to drive traffic to my business page? Like, to me, that makes
that makes
marketing,
sense, right?
That's marketing.
But then people want to crucify you for it, because you're like, aren't you a professional? You're using your site for this, and it's like,
it's just like, am I not supposed to have a life?
Right.
I'm a professional and I own a business, but at the same time, I'm also a grown-ass 24-year-old girl who's out living life and doing what the hell she wants to do, and I'm taking care of myself. I'm not out here being reckless or anything like that. My mom knows where I'm at. My mom knows what I do. And my daddy knows the same thing. Well, kinda, I guess. But, so it's like, as long as they give me the thumbs up, I don't really give a damn about what anybody else thinks, because those opinions don't matter to me. It's like, if you support my business, then support my business.
Right.
It's like, plenty of people watch Power, but they think 50 Cent is an ignorant son of a bitch.
Right. That's right.
Or they don't support any of his music.
But meanwhile, he's got a ton of stuff that he's got going on.
Yeah, it's like he goes on Instagram and he gets into the pettiest and most childish of arguments, but you still gonna watch Power.
But
when it comes on that week.
You know what people don't realize is that, once again, you're just looking at the car that's right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, while you're looking at the car in front of you, you're upset with the car in front of you, there's a whole world that is still interacting and still doing a ton of things while you're doing this one thing. Like, while 50 Cent is being petty, somewhere somebody has downloaded Power. Somewhere somebody has popped open a bottle of effing vodka.
Yeah.
Somewhere, somebody is indulging in something that he's a part of.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
then
like,
the same thing with like people like Chris Brown. Chris Brown get in trouble every day.
right.
But you still listen to his music.
That's
you
right.
still think
That's
he's
right.
one of the best dancers in the world.
Right.
You still, anytime he posts anything on Instagram, you right there. Because you want to see what's going on.
And that's why you spreading the information now, because you were right there when it came out. Yeah,
Yes.
that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's just interesting, like, especially with everything from those pictures, because I've had plenty of people ask me about it. Like, I even had people on my team approach me about it, people telling them, like, oh, you need to watch her and stuff like that. Like, you don't need to watch me. Like, you don't need to watch me because...
You watch me make this money.
Yeah, watch me make this money. Watch me blow everybody else out of the water, because regardless of whatever opinions or thoughts people have about me, I'm still going to continue to do what I'm doing with So Exquisite.
Right.
I just got new interns from Burke High School on my team, like, Friday.
Right.
Like, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be out here saying ignorant stuff or whatever, but I know I'm an educated enough human being to know how to say something and share my opinion and still dog you in the same process.
That's right. Nice, nasty to the extreme.
Yeah.
I really like that a lot, because I'm always curious about how, especially people, you have all the specifics that interest me in terms of your age, the fact that you're a woman, and that you started your own business. And all three of those things always come into play when you're kind of operating in the world around you, because people are going to say, well, you can see, like with you'll post your pictures, but you have more information about So Exquisite than you have pictures. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you spend a lot of time promoting your business, which is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like I spend more time promoting So Exquisite than I do anything else. It's like I'll post a ton of things throughout the day about So Exquisite, and then post a picture of me at the pool, and then people only see the picture from the pool, but they don't see all the other stuff that I posted before. So it's like, what the fuck?
That's what's interesting, because it seems to me as though people understand you're a woman, they understand that you're young, but they don't really understand business, or like that you're owning your own. And I think that sometimes our audience will show their true colors to us when we do something that they actually feel like they can relate to. Like, in terms of, okay, I've started my own business. There's only a small part of my demographic that's really going to understand that. But if I post a picture of me in lingerie, a large group of actually everyone is going to know that, because in America, sex is so suppressed, but it's everywhere. So it's like the personal conversation isn't there, but it's always around. So I think people are so eager to engage with you, but they only will latch on to what they know instead of just being curious about what they don't know. So they'll be like, oh, well, I may not know too much about the aspects of So Exquisite. Like, I understand that she's got this, that, and third, but I'm not really sure about that. Oh, she put a picture of lingerie. Oh, I know about that. Like, I gotta say something now, you know? And I think sometimes us just as audience members, like, because like I'm an audience member of you know what I'm saying? So while I watch you, I also, like, I was like, oh my God, look, she put these pictures up. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, she is, and I just didn't know your age yet. And I was like, I bet if she's young, if she's like 24 years old and she's got her own business and she's a woman, there are going to be some things she wants to do in life that you're finding, like, not even finding, but just like you're living in your balance, and you're finding out what's your best balance, just like all of us are. And it's always funny to me when people want to hit you up in the DMs and be like, oh, wait, how dare you?
Yeah.
How could you do this? And it's like, I do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
You know what
I'm
saying?
grown.
I'm grown.
Which bill would you like to pay this month?
That's right. Yeah.
Because you can come over and we can discuss that, because I get like, older people who are like professionals and stuff like that. And, just because the cookie cutter image or whatever, that's what you think is correct.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that that's the only way that like, that's how I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because I'm different.
Right.
I'm not the same person as you.
That's right.
I'm not your child or anything like that. Because
Right.
I had an older lady said, well, like I saw those pictures that you posted. And I was just like,
I'd have to be like, how long did you look at them?
yeah, it's just like, oh, good for you. I'm
Yeah.
like, like, okay, and like, what do you have to talk about? Like, what do you want? And they act as if like I'm supposed to be, I'm supposed to be like this nun, like, oh my God,
No,
this
no.
one person out of the billions of people in the world,
I don't care about
doesn't
that.
want to associate
Yeah.
themselves. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
go. If you don't like what I have to say,
Yeah.
and if anybody listening, if you're on my Facebook page, social media of any sort, if you don't like what I have to say, I promise you that the heavens will not fall out of the
Yeah.
earth if you press delete friend.
Yeah.
I promise you they won't. But it's like the fact that you feel you haven't deleted yourself yet
Yeah.
shows that you still you want to
have an
know.
interest.
Yeah, you have an
You
interest.
have an interest. That's right.
So don't sit here and act like you don't like what I'm doing, but you haven't deleted yourself. So obviously you still fuck with
Right.
me on some type of
That's
level.
right. You just don't want to admit it.
You
And
just
that-
don't want to admit it. You
Yeah.
just wanted something to say
Yeah.
to make yourself feel good.
Right.
And that's nice, but
And you still don't
I
feel
don't-
good about yourself. Like,
yeah, you still don't feel good about yourself because you haven't shamed me into anything because I've been hiding who I am for so long. It's like, you damn right I'm going to
I
live my
don't
life
think that
however the
you-
hell I want.
I don't think that you have to. I don't think that you have to be shamed. And I
Yeah.
think that there are, with as much, I always look at people's balance.
Yeah.
And you can always see, especially people in business, you can always see it because, and that's why I said to you, I was like, you're so focused on your own stuff, like that, and just you explaining the story, you telling the stories, like, and still everything you did was about business. It was still about business.
Yeah.
But people don't recognize that. They don't understand
Yeah.
that. Like they don't,
It just shows
and
just
they
how-
also don't want to ask the question because if you broke it down, you really wouldn't have a problem with what was being put up. It's
Yeah.
just that you want to say,
You just want something to say. You want to be able to put on a show.
that's right.
And it's like, you're not going to make me look like Homie the Clown.
Yeah. Oh, you made that apparent. You were like, look, y'all that do not do that.
Because I felt
Yeah.
like I needed to say that because it's like, I'm like, it's like I was giving people the opportunity. If you don't like what I'm doing, get the fuck out. Like,
Yeah.
basically.
But it's sad that we got to remind people of that because people know that.
Yeah,
You know
and
what
they
I'm
just
saying?
want to come
They
and
know
waste
that.
your time, and they want to sit in your inbox and message you all these things. It's
Right.
like, who has that kind of time?
Yeah.
It's like, I've been going and looking on some of these people pages. They got kids. They got jobs, I guess. It's like, when do you find time to raise
When
your
did you
kids?
find time to do
when
this?
do you find time to, work? Because
Yeah.
you spend so much time on social media
Yeah.
harassing me,
Yeah.
worried about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
When do you find time to actually be a parent? This is
Right.
This is why we got so many young kids out here that are committing crimes because their parents on Facebook
Worried about my
rather
pictures.
We're worried about my pictures and what Kim got going on. And then your child out here robbing and killing and stealing and doing ignorant stuff and getting pregnant. That's why
Oh, no.
America got the problems that we got. Get off social media.
Right.
Mind your damn business.
With all the money that you can make from social media right now in terms of like the marketing, how you could attract more customers, I can't imagine having an account on Facebook and you're not even remotely using it to
Yeah.
promote like a job that you started for yourself or some
Exactly.
self-employed. I can't imagine anything that has proven that it can make you money, which is pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I can't imagine you using it and not get like cars. Can't imagine you having a car and you not doing any kind of business.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Why? What do you need the car for? You know, like
Exactly.
what are you doing? Are you just leisurely just
You
riding
just
about?
sitting on your behind, just
No.
like stalking people or whatever the case may be.
You want that new iPhone? Like my dog. Are you using it for just like? And I say that because like with iMacs or something, right? You want an iMac, you don't need to buy a brand new iMac because you could go on Craigslist and find brand new iMacs because people buy them and don't use them.
Yeah.
And they say, I didn't, I
Or
really
they
didn't use
get
it like
and
that.
then they don't like it.
Yeah. And you're like,
because they think it's going to be like some type of like, because I got an iMac too. They think it's going to be some type of like futuristic, like, you know, it's like, it's not that deep.
It's like, it's a computer. Do you know how to use it or what to do with it? And people will, the person I bought this one from, they're like, I just don't use it anymore. And I'm like, why did you get this? I know how much these cost. Why did you just get it? You didn't have any kind of.
Some people just have money and they just feel like throwing it away.
Everybody think they're going to be a photographer. And then they use Photoshop for like 2 days. And then after that, they're like, I don't really use this anymore. It's like, come on, man. That should not be like
or they just want it just to say that they have it.
To say that they have it. You know, But anyway, coming back full circle. So what are the future aspirations for So Exquisite?
Well, I mean, I have a lot that I'm working on with So Exquisite right now. I've been working more on building relationships with other businesses and like the community and stuff like that. So I've really been out here trying to market myself more, market So Exquisite more, tell my story more so people can know me and know So Exquisite, because I feel like you can't really understand what So Exquisite is unless you can hear my story and hear what I have to say. You know, I like being able to offer services and, you know, provide opportunities to people and businesses or whatnot. And so I'm always connecting people and doing things to be able to bring people together or whatnot. So I want to continue to do that. Obviously, I love to do things in the community. I actually have an event coming up on October 15th. It's called Knockout Domestic Violence, where
I saw that. I saw that ad.
It's going to be, it's basically going to be, I'm working with the Speak Freely Foundation and the Goodbye Abuse Ministry, where I'm organizing this event to where it's going to be like a boxing class for like women and children.
Awesome.
They can come and participate, and then it's going to be kind of like a family, you know, friend, you know, community inviting type of thing where we can inform people of domestic violence and make people aware of it or whatnot, and then also, you know, have fun. You know, because I feel like people want, you know, people ain't coming unless there is food and it's games. Like,
and there's some interaction. That's right.
It's some type of interaction or whatnot. So I want to be able to do something like that or whatever, and of course be able to promote So Exquisite, but also be able to bring awareness to the organizations that I'm working with, and, you know, bring awareness to domestic violence, because I'm someone, I've been in a domestic violence situation as well. So
So you have a personal connection to
I have a personal connection to it as well. So I want to be able to, you know, make people aware, like, hey, you know, you can make jokes and memes about this all day long, but this is actually something that happens to a lot of people. You know, it's,
somebody always knows somebody.
Somebody knows somebody, whether you admit it or not, or whatever. You know, it's not something that people should tolerate, you know, and it's, you know, again, it goes back to the whole women and being submissive thing. You know, they see things like that, abuse, as something that they should tolerate because they feel like a man is supposed to give a woman purpose or something like that. Like, I don't need you to give me purpose. Like, you know, do what you're supposed to do right by me, and then we can have no problems.
That's right.
You know? That's just how I am. Like, that's just me personally, you know, but I do have a personal connection to it. So I definitely wanted to be able to do something like this. As well, and also be able to raise money or whatnot. Because any money that, if you're a vendor or if you're a sponsor, any money that we receive, it goes to those organizations. Like, nothing goes in my pocket or anything like that. You know, it all goes to them. So if anyone is interested, you can contact me.
Absolutely.
I'm also, you know, I have the scholarship fund as well. Like I said, I mentioned briefly, I'm working with some interns at Burke High School. They're going to be working with me as far as coming up with, you know, social media campaigns,
awesome.
doing fundraising for the scholarship fund in the community, also doing like research on cool things that we can do.
Right.
And then I have another student that's going to be writing. He's going to be doing fashion or whatnot. So
awesome.
I wanted to pick Burke specifically because I'm a graduate of Burke High School.
Yeah.
And anybody that knows Charleston, Burke gets an extremely bad reputation.
Right.
Just from, and I think that ties into the reputation that downtown Charleston has in general.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not fair because it's like Burke has evolved in so many different ways. Like I was in the 100th graduating class from Burke High School.
Right.
100 years, Burke has been in Charleston. Over 100 years now.
Yeah.
It's like Burke has, educated some of the most successful and most intelligent and most involved people in Charleston.
Right.
But people just have these ideas and they think just because Burke may be a failing school or they may think this or maybe they think that, so they think everybody is dumb or anybody that comes out of there is dumb. And it's like, no, because I've
That's
been,
not the truth. Yeah.
you can say what you want to say about some of these other schools, but I met some really dumb people from Wando.
That's right.
I've
Come
met
on now.
some
Yeah.
Thank
you.
I met
Thank
some
you.
really dumb people from like Garrett. I met some really dumb people from West Ashley. It doesn't matter where you come from.
Right.
It's like we all come from Charleston. We all go through things. We all, it doesn't mean that just because of what's happened before, we should hold it against the students that are in Burke who have dreams, who want to do things, who want to be things. Talking to some of those students, it's like, they hate the reputation that Burke has because they go out into the community and people look at them like, oh, you go to Burke?
Right.
Like, oh, like, they look at them
That's
and stuff
right.
like, oh, you're so dumb or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're not going to go anywhere. Like, look at people like Raven Saunders who went to the Olympics
right.
or whatever,
That's right.
went all the way, and she kept that like, hey, I'm a graduate of Burke High School. Like she kept that with her. And I'm the same way. Like you asked me where I went to school, darling, I went to Burke High School. Like I have no problem saying that.
See, I think that it's a part of an agenda to with Charleston being like number one city and all this other kind of stuff. And I always say like there's a piece that I always wanted that I started writing. It was called Number One to Who. And I feel like that it's an agenda to I don't know all the ins and outs, but just from the basics, I feel like it's an agenda to be like, oh, yeah, this isn't the school terrible. It's so terrible because then what you do is you do away with the school, and all of a sudden that's another spot for who to develop, and look at where it's close to. They're about to. I think there's like a Publix or something that's about to be built right over there, right up the street from Burke. There's so much development that's about to occur. And I don't find that coincidental that all of a sudden within these last few years or so, it's been, oh, well, Burke this and that and third. But it's such a historically important piece to that downtown area.
It's the oldest, I think it's the oldest high school or school in Charleston.
So Charleston shouldn't.
Yeah, it's a part of that ties into Charleston's legacy.
That's right.
Burke High School is Charleston. That ties into, you should go to homecoming games. Like people come from years. It doesn't matter if you was the first student in Burke High School altogether. You're going to be at homecoming.
That's right.
So it's like, it's so much pride that goes into it or whatnot. And it just makes me so sick that people give it such a bad rap or whatever. I never forget. I got to tell the story.
Go ahead.
I never forget. I went on a date with this dude once, and you're talking and you're getting to know each other, and so he was like, yeah, it was some school he went to or whatever, and I was like, yeah, I went to Burke. He was like, oh, like, you went to Burke, and I was just like, I went to Burke and I graduated valedictorian, and he was just like, oh, well, that must not have been hard. I was like, oh, who you playing with?
Oh, hey,
who you playing with? Like, don't go there. Don't go there, sweetie.
Highly unacceptable.
You just like killed your chance for a second date.
That's right.
Like, I was like, so what do you mean by that? Like, what does that mean? Like, why do you feel that way about Burke? Like, what facts?
Now you're doing your research.
I was, I had to fact check him or whatever. I was like, break down for me why you feel this way about Burke or whatever. So it was it's really just interesting.
Well, I think that I want to commend you for sure for doing what you did with providing an internship for high school students. I feel like that is very important. I like I said, I was a military student or military kid, so don't really have a hometown. So you more so kind of like when you feel a good place, you're like, this is it, this is home.
Yeah.
And I feel that same way about kind of the minority community at the College of Charleston.
Yeah.
There are just so many, like, the biggest help is the alumni. When you turn around and you come back and you also start doing things, this matters. I'm telling you, Kim, it matters. Everything that you're doing, it matters. And it's going to pick up speed and it's going to get even better, because it matters that you go back to your high school and you give the experiences that you have, and you give the opportunity, because then that's something that, as they start to shut down all these things that kids could be doing, and like, well, how come they're getting in so much trouble? Well, what kind of outlets are you providing for these students? And when you come in and you say, I've got this magazine, you can work on it with me, you can do this, you can do that, they are utilizing their time. There's a group who started a nonprofit called This Is Noteworthy, and they started a magazine that is run outside of the school, but it's for the school. Like all the interns are high school students. They're creating it, and I'm noticing that the more that they take arts out of the school, the more it's left up to outside sources to come in and say, look, I have some opportunities for you, because the school system isn't. They're pulling away, especially in the public school systems. They're pulling away from giving students those opportunities. So I think you're doing a really great job in what you're doing. That's why I said, I've got to, and it's funny, when you reached out, I had already, for a week, I kid you not, for a week, I was like, I think I should interview Kim. I said, I'm curious now, because anybody, like, a culmination of all the things that you post on a regular basis, I was like, I'm starting to see meaning behind everything that she's doing, in terms of, like, when you just met somebody, you obviously just met them, and I said, you know what, it would be really good to know what she does, like, where, I'm curious now. And it's not a lot of people that pique my curiosity, so that's first and foremost. So there's a lot of people that pique my curiosity, but when you start doing some things, I'm like, man, I'm very interested in this person. And then you reached out, and I was like, all right, so this is exactly, we were on the same wavelength. So I see a lot of the things that you're doing. I'm really excited about it, and I know that you'll continue doing some great things. There are some projects that you have already kind of in store and that you started that I'm looking at, and I'm like, I already know that can be that can go. So
thank you.
I guess I'll say in kind of a closing, what's your biggest advice? Not your biggest advice, but what's some advice? Because we'll think of 1,000 things that we think are the biggest thing. But what's some advice that's kind of been on your mind here lately that you would want to give?
I just tell people, like, be yourself. Like, don't be afraid to be yourself. Like, you gotta go in, if you're gonna do something and you're passionate about it, or if you like to do it, then just do it. Like, you shouldn't find reasons not to do it. You shouldn't let people, knock you down or things like that, because people are gonna do it regardless. Like, you can be, look at me, like I post things about my business all day long, but people ignore it until you see a little bit of cleavage in a selfie. We gotta check her on that. Like, people see
and
those
you still
things.
ain't gave a donation.
Yeah, exactly. You ain't donated not once to my scholarship fund. I did nothing like that.
Maybe you gotta put a little So Exquisite logo in the corner.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Just put it right on
just
top
be
of
like,
that.
donation, donate.
Donate to the
Donate.
But definitely, just I just tell people just to be yourself. Like, don't hold back. If you feel some type of way about something, say it. Speak your mind. Your opinion, just like how, I don't know who it was, Scarface or somebody who said, all I got is my balls and my word.
Yeah.
That's all you got. Like, speak your mind. Say how you feel. Don't hold back. Like, know, and especially for me being a writer, me being a journalist, and me creating
censorship. You don't want to be censored.
I don't want to be censored. I don't want to be, because,
that makes sense.
I feel like a part of what society does is that they censor people. They want you to say, okay, no, that's enough of that. Be quiet. But I don't want to. I want to be able to influence people to, like, don't be quiet. Say how you feel. Say what you want. Say what's on your mind. I don't believe in, holding back or anything like that. Like, don't say it in an ignorant way or say go about it, idiotically. But, just Like, just be yourself. Just say how you feel.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of public opinion, because public opinion is going to be there whether you're kissing babies on the forehead or you're shooting up a neighborhood.
Someone don't like what you're doing.
Somebody don't like what you're doing. Oh, she's got a scholarship fund. You know, I just think that's
they just find
something. You know, she didn't punctuate that sentence correctly. I'm not donating to her fund.
Also, without even knowing remotely what it is that you do.
Yeah,
you know, like that. That's always been the biggest thing for me.
Because I get people all the time to say, "Well, what do you do?" And I'm just like, first of all, do you read? Because I think I make it pretty clear what I do. Right. But hey, I'll break it down for you either way. Right. You know, but there's some people that's another thing that I feel like I struggle with is like people are too lazy to read. Yeah. So it's like sometimes you gotta be outlandish about it in order to get people's opinion or get people to pay
their
attention.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. No matter how clear you think it is, somehow people show that you could have made it even more clear. Yeah. And you're like,
I can put it in Ebonics. I can do it in sign language. I can say it in Spanish, French, whatever. Right. People they gonna find a way to misconstrue it or to misinterpret it or not understand. You know.
That's true. So be yourself.
Be yourself.
I'm all about it.
Speak your mind.
That's right.
And have fun and fuck everybody's opinion.
There you go. Awesome.
Fuck everybody's opinion. Like, who cares? You know, they don't pay your bills. They don't wipe your ass. So
they don't do none of that.
Can go and kiss ass.
There you go. There you go. Now tell everybody how you can find So Exquisite.
They can find So Exquisite by you can go onto the website www.soexquisite EXQUISITE Charleston. For those who don't know how to spell Charleston is spelled CHARLESTON.
There you go.
.com. There you go. So you can go there, find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram. I have a Twitter. If you have a Twitter, please follow me. I only have like 20 followers, so I need more people to follow me.
Twitter is a very difficult.
Yeah. So one of my interns, I'm just giving her Twitter. Just do it. I don't get it. Just do it. So you know. Yeah. But yeah, those are the main ways. Or email soexquisite.Kimberly@gmail.com.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kim. And it's been a pleasure talking to you. And I'm sure
it's been a pleasure being here.
Many more conversations. So until next time, once again, this has been VP with Do Work Radio. And this is a spotlight interview with Kimberly Bowman of So Exquisite Charleston. Until next time, Charleston, have a great day.